The untold story of Louis Vuitton. From street kid to luxury empire, Louis Vuitton. Today the name itself carries weight. A Louis Vuitton bag is not just leather and stitching. It is status, wealth, and legacy. Fashion icons and celebrities display it proudly and in luxury boutiques around the world. People line up for the privilege of paying thousands for it. But behind this symbol of glamour lies a story that could not be more different. It is not the tale of a privileged designer or a wealthy heir. It is the story of a boy who started with nothing. A boy who lost both parents before he even reached his teenage years. A boy who walked nearly 300 miles with no money, no family, and no safety net just to chase a dream. This is the untold story of Louis Vuitton himself. The orphan who defied the odds, transformed luggage forever, and created one of the most valuable brands in history, worth over $47 billion today. Louis Vuitton was born in 1821 in Untold, a small village in eastern France. His father was a carpenter, his mother a milliner, and life was hard. The family lived modestly, often close to poverty. When Louis was just 10 years old, tragedy struck. His mother died. 2 years later, his father passed away as well. By the age of 12, Louis was an orphan, left alone in a world that offered little mercy to children without family. For most, that would have been the end of the story. But Louis was not most people. He refused to let his circumstances define his future. At 13, he made a bold, almost unthinkable decision. He would leave his tiny village behind and go to Paris, the city of opportunity. He had no horse, no carriage, no money, just determination and his own 2 feet. The journey was brutal. Nearly 300 miles separated him from Paris. It took him over 2 years to complete. He'd worked odd jobs along the way, chopping wood, carrying loads, helping farmers, anything that earned him a piece of bread or a place to sleep. He endured storms, hunger, and exhaustion. He slept in barns, on roadsides, under the open sky. Yet step by step, mile by mile, he pushed forward. Finally, at 16, he arrived in Paris. The city was not welcoming. In the 1830s, Paris was overcrowded, dirty, and full of crime. The Industrial Revolution was reshaping society, but for many, it meant only more hardship. Yet Louis had reached his destination. He had nothing, but he had arrived. Louis soon found work as an apprentice to Monsieur, a respected trunk maker and packer. At the time, traveling was becoming increasingly popular among the wealthy. Steamships, trains, and carriages meant that people could move more often and with more possessions. But traveling in the 19th century was not glamorous. Roads were rough, journeys long, and luggage bulky. Traditional trunks were rounded on top, designed so rainwater could roll off, but these rounded lids made them impossible to stack. For wealthy clients traveling with large wardrobes, this was a nightmare. Trunks were heavy, impractical, and often poorly made. Louis learned quickly, developed an obsessive attention to detail. His precision and skill began to set him apart. Customers noticed. His name spread. In 1853, everything changed. Louis caught the attention of de Monteau, the Empress of France and wife of Napoleon III, was a fashion leader. Whatever she used instantly became fashionable across Europe. When she chose Louis Vuitton as her personal boxmaker and packer, his reputation exploded. Suddenly, the elite of Paris all wanted trunks made by this young craftsman. The following year, in 1854, Louis took the bold step of opening his own workshop in Paris. The sign above his door read, "Louis Vuitton, Malatia, Paris." Motto promised, securely packs the most fragile objects, specializes in packing fashions. But Louis was not content with just following tradition. He wanted to innovate. He created a trunk unlike any before, rectangular, flat-topped, and made of lightweight, waterproof canvas. These trunks could be stacked neatly, saving space during travel. It was simple, but revolutionary. Very quickly, Vuitton's trunks became a must-have item for wealthy travelers. They were practical, elegant, and exclusive. But Louis understood something even deeper. Luxury is not only about utility, it is about identity. He began designing personalized patterns and unique designs for clients. It wasn't just about carrying belongings. Owning a Vuitton trunk became a statement. This idea, combined with exceptional craftsmanship, laid the foundation for a brand that would endure long after his lifetime. When Louis Vuitton died in 1892, he left behind more than a workshop. He left behind a name. His son Georges Vuitton inherited the business. But Georges did not just want to preserve his father's legacy. He wanted to transform it into a global brand. Georges introduced the iconic LV monogram in 1896, inspired by Japanese flowers and geometric designs. It was more than decoration. It was a way to prevent counterfeiting, which had already become a problem as copycats tried to imitate Vuitton's work. The monogram gave Louis Vuitton a visual identity, a symbol that shouted exclusivity. Georges expanded the business across Europe and into America, London, New York. The Vuitton name began its march across the world. The company survived world wars, depressions, and the constant shifts of fashion. Each generation found ways to adapt. They launched handbags, clothing, shoes, and perfumes. They expanded beyond trunks to become a complete luxury house. By the late 20th century, Louis Vuitton had become part of LVMH, Moët, Hennessy, Louis Vuitton. Under billionaire Bernard Arnault. Arnault understood the power of heritage brands. He built LVMH into the largest luxury conglomerate in the world. And at its heart, Louis Vuitton was the crown jewel. Today, the Louis Vuitton brand alone is worth over $47 billion. Its boutiques span the globe. Its logo appears on red carpets and fashion shows and on the arms of royalty and celebrities alike. But here's the irony. While Louis Vuitton products today symbolize the highest luxury, their origins are rooted in poverty, struggle, and determination. When someone buys Louis Vuitton, they aren't just buying a handbag. They are buying a piece of history. The story of a boy who lost everything, walked hundreds of miles, and built a name that would outlast empires. Louis Vuitton is more than leather. It's more than fashion. It is proof that no matter where you start, with resilience and vision, you can create something timeless. So the next time you see someone carrying a Louis Vuitton bag, remember, behind that logo is not just a brand. It is the legacy of a boy from the French countryside, an orphan who refused to give up, and who turned nothing into the ultimate symbol of everything. And that, perhaps, is the greatest luxury of all, the power to write your own destiny. This is the untold story of Louis Vuitton, from street kid to luxury empire.